This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, joined as always by my co-host, Kelly Gilster.
Hey guys. Hey Taylor, how are you?
I'm great. Kelly, you have some big news coming up with 618 Studios, which is sparking this whole episode. Care to share what you have going on?
We are in the midst of our rebrand coming to life. We were talking about this before recording. Taylor doesn't know if she would call it quite a rebrand, and I do agree with her. We guide all of our mastermind students through either a refresh or a rebrand when they join the program. And so we have certain criteria that checks the boxes of each. And I would say, or what did you call it, Taylor? Like a heavy refresh?
Yeah, like a substantial refresh. I feel like there's different layers or levels of refreshing your brand. Like it could just be like an updated website or a new logo, but you guys, I feel like cleaned house with your old brand, poof, everything out the door, and a fresh new such a vibe kind of brand is inbound. As Kelly's friend and business partner, I get a 100% behind the scenes look at everything she's got going on, and you guys, it's gonna be so good. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, get it out, roll it out, get it out.
Yeah, she's literally like, how's your website coming along? She's like, I'm talking to you like you're one of our students. What is going on with this? Let's get this going. And it's been a long process. I mean, for one, we have so much going on over here at Level Up. We're pouring into hundreds of students' businesses throughout 12 months together when we launch our mastermind program and stuff, that sometimes it's hard to give a little self-care on our own businesses.
Yeah, isn't that a saying? Something about the cobbler's kids' shoes are never something, or I don't know. Is that something?
Yes, no, I think it is. I wish, okay, if anyone knows, you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on wherever you listen to your podcast, send us a DM on Instagram, give us the correct phrasing for that.
Yeah, something about a cobbler and shoes and their kids not having good ones, but it sounds better than that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it works. But I'm so excited. So you guys, okay, we're going to just dive into Kelly's 618 substantial refresh, because I think it's really, really cool to listen to the thought processes, the intentionality behind it, what triggered this refresh in the first place, because as we've talked about on this podcast many, many times, your brand is so incredibly important, and it's directly, responsible for the kinds of clients that you attract and that you not detract, that you opposite of attract.
Yeah, detract. No,
that's not right.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that you repel. There we go.
Repel. Expel. Oh
Expel.
My goodness.
We've recorded a couple podcast episodes today, and so we're getting a little fun, a little silly, but we'll dial it in, I promise, because this is actually a really good one. Okay. Your brand is the heartbeat of your business. It is your ethos. It is who you attract. It is a direct reflection of the artistry that you provide, of the clients that you want to be attracting, and kind of the future of your business and how you want that to look. And I share this story in our mastermind, but I'm going to share it with you guys. In 2020, when my business took a huge turn for the better, I went through 3 different iterations of my website. And I did a massive rebrand. I changed my business name, worked with a designer, got a new branding suite. I've always DIY'd my website. I've actually never worked with a website designer. But I did that in May. And then from May through December, I redesigned my website 3 different times because my business changed so rapidly. The kinds of weddings I was booking for the following 2021 year in major hopes that we would even do weddings that next year. It was a crazy time in 2020 and 2021. But I was doing lots of editorials. So I had a lot of great new imagery to kind of like breathe into my brand. And I had this like newfound awareness of the market. And my ideal client was shifting really quickly. And like I was deciding who I was wanting to become and who I wanted to work with over time. And if you are not looking at your business like that and realizing when you've outgrown what you already have going on, then you are going to stay stuck. And if you look at the people in the industry that are growing really quickly or are at places that you aspire to be at, they probably have their brand locked in tight and they're refreshing it every so often. So we're going to talk about that because there's a good chance that if you're listening to this podcast now or in the future, a refresh is on the horizon for you, is as it is actually for me, which is exciting. And Kelly is in the process of that. So let's chat all about it. Okay, so I know you were talking about a year ago.
Yep.
So this is August 2024. If we
Mhm.
dial that calendar back 12 months, you're like, I think it's time for a refresh. Where was your state of mind there? What were you recognizing in your own business? Like, walk us through that thought process.
Yeah, we were at this point, we were all filled up for the season. It wasn't out of a place of I wasn't getting weddings. It wasn't anything like that. It just was I understood and I could tell that my brand didn't support the clients that I was working with at the time. That was probably the number one thing. When I looked at the brand, which I kind of did different variations. Our logo itself was 10 years old. When we redid our website 4 years ago, the designer that we worked with said, hey, I think your logo has a little bit more life in it. Like, I don't think we need to do that. And I'm like, okay, I think she like actually was right, like from 4 years ago. But 10 years with a logo is like a long time. And I think that there's also just something to be said about refreshing and rebranding that shows fellow creatives in the industry, whether that be planners, florists, hair and makeup artists, photographers, filmmakers, that like you are actively involved in growth. Like if you're just kind of
Mm.
sitting there stagnant and you haven't undergone any sort of refreshes or rebrands, then I just think it's like showcasing that you're kind of stagnant in your business. And in 2022, I sought some mentorship from some wedding planners, and I told them that our business had been on autopilot because of having like our kids and growing our family from 2019 to 2024, and that I was ready to just like put my foot on the gas pedal and like get back up to where I wanted to see our business get to in the industry. And to me, that just meant an overhaul of the brand. That when I looked at the website and I looked at the quality of weddings that we were doing, there was a misalignment. And yes, I had really strong planner relationships that were still allowing me to book that next level of client. But I know that there probably was clients that slipped through the crack because the brand wasn't up to par.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And okay, so no, I know who your ideal client is. I feel like I'm like pretty familiar with her.
Yeah.
Um, she's a horse girl. She
Yeah.
loves big, wide open spaces for her reception with a tent,
Hmm.
very understated luxury, natural tones, all of this stuff. And I will agree, looking at, I mean, actually, as of right now, like 618 is still in its like past life. So
Yeah.
hopefully soon it'll roll out. But it's like heavy in like the greens. It does
Yes.
feel like slightly like even in your headshot you're wearing like a turquoise dress. Like it doesn't to me, it doesn't match your ideal client at all. And so
No,
it your new brand though, like you are her. She
I
is
am
you.
her.
You
She
are
is
one.
you. Good. I'm so glad. That was the thing. Like, I wanted to actually like be her. Like, we talk about how honestly our ideal client is the most elevated version of ourselves. And so, I mean, Paul and I, when it came to like I wouldn't even say we took headshots. Like, it was truly like a brand campaign. And we
Mhm.
really worked alongside the photographer. I chose the photographer because I knew that she was going to be invested in the project as we were. We hired a stylist to style us. Like we gave her all of the branding assets that we had worked with when we worked with our brand or our logo designer who created like the whole new ethos of the brand. So, yeah, from a year ago was when I started thinking about it. I had done a lot more, you know, introspective work about who this new ideal client was. As Taylor and I say, your ideal client should change. He or she should never be the same person that they were 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago. So now I'm 15 years into business, and my ideal client is a new person, and I'll probably have another new ideal client in 4 or 5 years from now. So I just wanted to be sure that the brand spoke directly to who my ideal client is now in order to just really propel the business in the way that I wanted it to, and to align with the weddings and the clientele that I wanted to be working with.
Yeah, I think that's great. And being able to recognize that there was a misalignment was absolutely like the springboard for you. And that is what should be the springboard to anyone else in the industry. You're just kind of recognizing like this doesn't feel like it fits. And sure, it could be working, but how much better could it be? How much better weddings could I be booking? How much more could I raise my prices if I did kind of take a leap of faith, invest into my brand a little bit and the time and the energy? I think it opens up a whole new world of possibilities that are simply not available to you in your past iteration of your brand. And not talking just to you, Kelly, like this is to everyone. But it
Mhm.
really opens a whole new world available to you. So walk us through that process a little bit. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll start with like the extreme Kelly. Like literally the only thing you didn't do is undergo a name change. Like you
Yeah.
did everything else. And
Yeah.
so this is a complete 180, a complete new brand for 618. So
Yeah.
you did your
So it started
branding
with,
campaign.
yes,
Yes.
it started with us hiring a designer that was going to be doing like a full overhaul of new color palettes for the brand, new logos, new secondary logos, submarks, like things like that. And that was a really great experience. And it started first with realizing that, yes, I had outgrown the current ideal client, and then we worked together to determine who that ideal client was. And it was design boards, and it was like showcasing imagery that like aligned with my ideal client and where they travel to, and like all the things too that Taylor and I do within our mastermind program. But it's just so great to have a mentor that helps you with that and gives you the materials in order to do that, and like really execute and ask the specific questions that you probably have never ever asked yourself. And when you really start to uncover just the depth of how much you understand your ideal client, I promise you, it just all falls into place. And that's really
Mhm.
what happened for us too. It was like, I understand who she was, where she shopped, what her hobbies were, what type of dog she has, where she vacations, like where she's going to go for her honeymoon, where do they vacation for their anniversary, like all these things. And giving that over and handing that over to the designer. And I will say, like, I also made a very selective choice in who I chose for my designer. Um, it was a strategic choice on that part too. And so worked with her, and then her husband helped me with copywriting and just all of the words to really speak to the way that my ideal client thinks and what their hopes are for their wedding weekend and what their values are. Obviously, like, I share similar values to my ideal client, and so just speaking all those into there, I just felt like our copywriting at the time was okay, but it felt very novice for the level that we're working at now. And so it was time for just elevated copywriting. They did all the copywriting on our website. And then from there, then it was the thing that actually took the longest time was honestly the headshots, because it was a blend of like we had headshots on the calendar, then our whole family got sick and we had to redo it. And then to be completely honest, like I wanted to rework the way that I've not really seen headshots done in the industry just yet. There wasn't anything that excited me. Then I just didn't want to do like the white studio. It just didn't
Mhm.
feel like the brand. There wasn't a warmth to it. Like our brand has some warmth to it, and that the white studio wasn't it for me. And so it took a long time to figure out like what was that I wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just levels of intentionality at every step of the way, which I think is missing from a lot of people. So I think that, in the early stages of business, you slap together a DIY logo and throw up like whatever free template was available to you as a website, you call it a day. And then you kind of enter like stage two of business where maybe you buy a slightly better like template, and then you kind of like still kind of like shim sham it together, and then you have a better one, and then eventually get to the point where like the DIY just no longer serves you like
Yeah.
the same way. Okay, so we're filmmakers, like we would be appalled if our clients tried to DIY film their own wedding. Like they're not filmmakers. Photographers out there, you would be appalled if your clients wanted to try to photograph their own wedding because they're not photographers. Like, we are not designers inherently. You know what I mean? Like, we are whatever we are. We're photographers, planners, videographers. Like, that doesn't mean you are a designer, right? So it's a different skill set that you have to have if you want top notch work to be produced,
Mhm.
right? And so I think it's interesting to hear, like, kind of how you recognized it was really, really time to heavily invest in this and do it right from the like all the way through. You did it right all the way through. But I will say, so like we kind of said, we'll call it a rebrand. It's fine. Your rebrand is extreme. And there's a lot of people out there who don't have the funds quite yet in order to do this. I mean, we're talking 10 grand more than that, like out the door, like by a lot more.
Probably, yeah, I would say including the logo, we're probably like nearing 20,000.
Yeah. That's
Like
a lot of
just full
money.
transparency. Full transparency. Like I just think that it's good for people to kind of know. and and when we actually were very transparent with the numbers as we were going through this with our students, and we're saying like we're not telling you that you have to go out and do a $20,000 rebrand. Like you guys are in maybe the era of business that I was in one or two eras ago, and that very much like was just probably headshots for $500 and call it a
Yeah.
day. And we didn't
And
buy new
then
clothes.
and a new website template, and like
Yeah.
now you have a beautiful, refreshed, ready to go for the next season brand, and that's amazing, and that's going to serve you so well for a couple of years. And then you'll get to the stage where you're charging $25,000 a wedding, and you'll probably need something slightly more advanced, which is where
Yes.
Kelly is. You know what I mean? So it's all baby steps and like working your way there. I actually, if I'm being honest, I think it would be an absolutely horrible way to spend money, the way you did on a brand for somebody who's in a rapid growth stage. If somebody is rapidly growing in the industry, changing and going through like big moves in their businesses, because we alluded to in the beginning of the episode, your ideal client is changing often, especially if
Yeah.
you're growing fast. Like you're going to outgrow that brand that you just spent so much money on faster. And so it's just not going to be there. Whereas Kelly's been in the industry for 15 years. She knows what's going on. She's at a point where like you're at the like arrived point. Like you still have
Yeah.
growing to do too, but like you've
Yeah.
kind of arrived, and like you're a mature brand, and your new brand is going to reflect that. So just kind of saying like don't go spending a ton of money on your brand if you're not like at that stage of business quite yet, but we want to kind of spark some ideas, spark those thought processes in you, and who might be considering like, okay, maybe I have outgrown my brand. Maybe my brand isn't serving me in the season of business that I am hoping to enter in the next
Mhm.
year, things like that. And actually, that's been something that I've been working on as a project over the last 6 months as well. I I've always been the kind of person, so in like middle school, high school, I loved doing all of the like MySpace templates. I would like design like there was like code that you can like put in, and you can like start with a clean slate on MySpace and like build out like a new profile with
Yeah.
like designs. I would do that all the time. I would like give my friends the designs. It was something I've always loved. And part of what I love about business is I was actually talking to, I've said this to you too, but I was talking to Deanna Harrison about this a few months ago. And I was like, I just like to sit on my laptop and like tinker. Like, I just like to like
Yeah.
be in my laptop and tinker. And so that's always like kind of reflected in like playing with like our Level Up website, playing with my website, like kind of just like dreaming new things. And so I actually like have dove into learning some design and Show It. Show It is my preferred platform. Kelly is on Squarespace. I love Show It. It's just like easier from like a design perspective for me personally. So I actually had like a new idea for a business. We are always recommending our students go out and seek out new design for their website, for their brands, things like that. And I've had some less than ideal experiences with designers in my recent past, and I was like, I think I could do a better job. Like, I just think I understand like from a customer's perspective, like how the experience could be a lot better. I think I don't know, I could do a better job, and so I've been like kind of scheming and building behind the scenes, unbeknownst to everybody. And
Yeah.
actually, as of today, I just launched it into the world. I have a new business called By Five Design House, where I do show it website and templates and all this good stuff. And I'm excited to kind of roll out. I have some new things that I'm working on, but I just wanted to get it out there and available out in the world to the wedding pros. And one kind of amazing thing that I think is what sets this apart from other show it websites is it's by somebody who has coached like 5,000 or more now wedding photographers and filmmakers into elevating their businesses. Like this is something Kelly and I do all the time. Like, I know what goes into a good website. I know what goes into the sales process, especially at an elevated level of the industry and for people who want to grow. I specialize in weddings. I know what a wedding website should look like. Actually, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I can tell a wedding photographer, filmmaker, planner, anyone has purchased a website template and used all of the spots available, all the canvases available to
Oh
them
my gosh.
out of like obligation. They were just like, I
Yeah.
don't know, it was there. I felt like I had to use it. And I'm like, ah, this is actually hurting you. Like, stop. Like, don't use these things. Please,
Yeah.
like, take them out. And so, like,
Yes.
everything I've built, like, it's literally only the things that you should be having on your website as a wedding filmmaker or photographer or planner who's trying to get to that next level or just breathe better life into your brand or enter that next era. Actually, my tagline is your a new era of your brand starts here, which
Yeah.
I was like, that's so fun. Anyway, so go give me a follow on Instagram at by five design house. I think we'll be sending out an email newsletter this week, kind of announcing it as well. So you may be receiving that. But yeah, I'm really, really excited. I've been working with a couple of our past mastermind students on helping them customize their templates. And I have realized that sometimes it's like a lack of time thing. Like people just like can't. Kind of like how we are talking last week of like you're just in the thick of wedding season, you're doing weddings, you are editing, and like marketing just feels like kind of optional. You don't want to put time into it. So I will be helping with website template customizations here and there upon request, things like that. It's not going to be like a huge part of the business, but it will be available for those who perhaps would like to have that. But I just think that having your brand feel like a true reflection of your business, where you're headed in the future of the next 12 months, 24 months is so, so important. And we see a lot of websites. You guys,
A
we
lot
see
of
a lot of
websites. Spend
websites,
a lot of time on websites. Yes.
and a lot of them need new life breathed into them. And our
Yeah.
students completely understand that. And we just want to like hit the nail on the head so many times that your brand is more than your logo. It's like the ethos of your business. So anyway, we're excited about Kelly's 618 rolling out. I'm gonna like be texting her like a mad woman every day over the next couple weeks so she can get it out for you guys. But
Please do. Please coach
I
me.
will.
And if you guys are sitting here and saying, hey, yeah, I need to breathe new life into my business, and you need something really beautiful, very intentional, go and grab Taylor's new templates. She has many options to choose from. And so there may just be the perfect choice for you and what you want the next era of your business to look like.
Yeah, thanks. I I think the designed by a wedding pro who like has gotten to the luxury level myself
Yeah,
and then who has also coached a lot of people. Like I do feel like that's the differentiator. Like
totally.
yeah,
Totally. I think that there's many other people out there that work with photographers and filmmakers, maybe not on like the template capacity, but maybe like full customization and stuff. But I think there's very few that have a pulse on the industry, how quickly this industry changes, what the clients at this level are looking for in terms of a website that they can resonate with and that yields in a very seamless sales process. And so I think that's what your templates absolutely do. And I'm really, really excited for so many of our listeners to experience them and hopefully add them to their secret weapon of branding.
Yay. Oh, I don't think I said the URL. It's just buy5designhouse.com. Actually, it's kind of funny. Coming up with a business name is hard. Like, that's so strange to like be kind of back in that like arena. I mean,
Yeah.
I rebranded to my name for my films back in 2020, which is like the least amount of thought you would ever have to put into anything ever. And then Level Up like was kind of easy to name. And so I like went through it with options for names and like not knowing what was a good representation, and I played with a lot of things. I asked ChatGPT for help, and like I just couldn't find something that felt authentic. And then I was trying to think of like what felt like me. Like what is
Mhm.
who am I? Like who is Taylor? And I'm like my most favorite thing is like my early mornings with my coffee and my laptop. Like you can find me every single day by 5 a.m. on my couch with a cup of coffee. And so I was like, ooh, by 5. Like
Yeah.
I'm always up by 5. And then
Yep.
like I'm kind of going with like a cool girl, like Italy coffee, like kind of like vibe for the brand. I don't know. I'm excited about it. But
That's
anyway,
great.
by 5 sounds so random, but that is the lore now behind the name.
It's so good. It's so you as well. When you told me the name and you were like, yeah, because like it's always by 5, or I'm getting things done by 5 a.m., like always by 5. And I'm like, great. I love it.
Super funny. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, should we continue on the talk about your rebrand because we're not quite done with your story?
Are we? Okay. Prompt me. Prompt me. What else do we want to know?
Okay, so a year ago, you were like, oh, this isn't feeling aligned with the
Yeah.
clients that I am booking and the ones that I really want to be booking. In January ish, you started this process with a designer. You did your
Mhm.
logo, fonts, colors, design
Mhm.
board, digging into the ideal client. And then again, this is like things that we do with our students. And don't just aim for pretty. Pretty is not enough. There has to be some depth to it. And so, if you're going to undergo a rebrand, a refresh, we would recommend going through our mastermind program first so that you do it right from the beginning. Because what we don't want is for you to undergo a major brand overhaul and then eventually realize, like, oopsies, like, I didn't know these things and I would have done it differently. So, doing it alongside us with a lot of guidance is probably the way to go, really, to make sure you're putting those dollars to like really good use and your time and efforts into good use as well. Then you did your brand. You called it not headshots. You called it a brand
Campaign.
campaign, which it totally was. They look amazing. And then now you're buttoning up your website, and you did go the template route for your website,
I
didn't you?
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I felt like maybe at the time being because the designer that I used for our logo and all those things does also offer website design, and I actually could see us I loved working with her, and I could see us maybe doing that in, like, a couple of years, like, maybe doing, like, a new one, but I think at the time with, like, everything else that we had kind of invested, I knew that it was gonna be another thousands of dollars for that, and so I'm like, "Okay." I have always had really great experiences with templates or the semi-custom route, and so I just found, like, a template that I felt like resonated with us, and, I will say I did end up, hiring someone from Fiverr to go in and, like, plug in through Squarespace. They're, like, a Squarespace expert, and I'm like, "Hey, I need you to, like, input all of our fonts that like I had to purchase and then input all of our color palette." And so he worked with me on that and that wasn't very expensive, but it was such a great use of time for me to like have him do that. And then yeah, so it was basically everything but the website. So new headshots, new copywriting, new just ethos, brand ethos as far as fonts, logos, submarks, all of that, and it's so me. It's so me, and I will say though, I think one of the things, and this is just like for listeners to kind of realize, when it's time, and this also nods to Taylor and like her templates and that she works in that level. I chose to go with someone. They do copywriting, websites, and branding. I wanted to work with someone who works with creatives that are at my level or above my level. So I think one of the biggest things that is a miss of students that join our program or just people that we see in the industry is that they hire on people that don't have the awareness of the different levels of the wedding market. So I'm going to give an example. One of the biggest things that we hear when it comes to copywriting is students that paid thousands of dollars for a copywriter that literally takes the SEO approach, because that's the mainstream way. The mainstream way is SEO. The clients are getting on there and Googling, and you're popping up, and like there is a totally different strategy at the top than SEO. And it was interesting working with this designer's husband who did my copywriting, that very clearly understood, like, yeah, SEO is not the way, like, on this. I don't do any sort of that stuff, like with the clients that we work with. And he works with planners and photographers and all these other like high level professionals. And so it was just really great to just work with someone who gets it and understands what this client at this level is looking for and what this planner at that level is looking for when they're sourcing a videographer and filmmaker. Anything else to add to that, Taylor? Did that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think it's so important to understand and not just go through the motions because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do or that's what your peers are doing. Like really taking that intentional approach. And yeah, SEO is not a marketing tactic we teach to our clients at all. I would say that the final kind of piece to the puzzle would be the rollout strategy, the launching of the rebrand, really making sure the correct eyes are on that, getting in touch with people that you want to be aware of your new brand. And those are all things that we teach heavily inside our mastermind program. There's definitely a strategy to it. We're not throwing things out on Instagram all willy-nilly. There's a way to really make sure we get the most momentum out of this new brand, out of this refresh, out of this new website, whatever it may be that you're working on within your business. It's a great way to get visibility in the industry and making sure the right eyes land on your business to book better clients in future years. So really recognizing when it's time for a new era of your brand to begin, whether that be on a more basic level with just a new website or a new brand identity, or maybe eventually you'll go down the path that Kelly went down, spending $20,000 on a completely new brand ethos in a really elevated way. We just want to encourage you guys. We're coming up on the end of the year right now. Things are going to get a little bit lighter. And for a lot of people, you will be using your time to breathe new life into your brand. And we really hope that you do. We really do recommend you go through some sort of brand refresh every couple of years, every 2 to 3 years, new life being breathed into your brand, because we are in a rapidly developing and changing industry. And we really want to make sure that your brand doesn't fall by the wayside and it really keeps up with what is going on in the industry and continues to serve you time and again. So again, would love to just kind of announce I do have websites available. By 5 Design House is my new business. I'm so excited about it. Again, I design solely on Showit, which is very, very easy to use. If you buy one of my templates or work with me, you also will get a complete library of tutorial videos on how to use Showit so that you can further customize your template or make changes to your website in the future. Again, I will be offering also template customization too. So if you like one of my templates, but don't really want to do the work in putting all of your own business information, all of your assets in there and customizing it to your own brand, that is a service I will be offering as well, which I'm very excited about. Like I said, tinkering on my laptop in the early morning hours is like one of my most favorite things to do. So please let me tinker with your website and get that to that next level, breathe newness into your brand, help you enter that next era of your brand. You are ready, my friend. We are so excited. And that's going to do it for this episode, and we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.